Evening, folks. Tonight I've prepared to read you Journey by Edna St. Vincent Millay from her 1921 book, 2nd April. So let's get right into it. Journey by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Ah, could I lay me down in this long grass and close my eyes and let the quiet wind blow over me? I am so tired of passing pleasant places. All my life, following care along the dusty road, have I looked back at loveliness and sighed. Yet at my hand, an unrelenting hand tugged ever, and I passed. All my life long, over my shoulder have I looked at peace. And now, I fain would lie in this long grass and close my eyes. Yet onward, catbirds call through the long afternoon, and creeks at dusk are guttural. Whippoorwills wake and cry, drawing the twilight close about their throats. Only my heart makes answer. Eager vines go up the rocks and wait. Flushed apple trees pause in their dance and break the ring for me. Dim, shady wood roads, redolent of fern and bayberry, that through sweet bevies thread, of round-faced roses, pink and petulant, look back and beckon ere they disappear. Only my heart responds. Yet, my path is sweet on either side. All through the dragging day, sharp underfoot and hot, and like dead mist the dry dust hangs. But far, oh far as passionate eye can reach, and long, long as rapturous eye can cling, the world is mine. Blue hill, still silver lake, broad field, bright flower, and the long white road, a gateless garden, and an open path, my feet to follow, and my heart to hold. All right, so that's Journey from 2nd April. Millay probably wrote this poem while she was living in New York in 1913 at the age of 21, where she was taking preparatory classes at Barnard. She had been offered a generous scholarship to attend Vassar, which happens to be my alma mater, but it turned out her rural Maine high school education wasn't quite up to the standards of a Seven Sisters school, so she had to take some remedial classes first, and Barnard was where it was easiest for her to take them. At the very least, New York City was where she was living when this was originally published, which was in a magazine called The Forum. For those of you who are less familiar with how poetry is usually published, usually it's published in a magazine first, and then later on you will collect them into a volume, such as 2nd April. So this was originally published, like I said, in a magazine called The Forum, and she was paid the princely sum of $25 for this poem and another, God's World, actually, which is a poem I mentioned in an earlier video. Incidentally, if you happen to be working as a poet today, this is actually still a pretty good rate for a poet today, because it's never been a lucrative profession. So Ever the Dutiful Daughter, she took that $25 check and sent it on to her mother, with instructions to buy herself some shoes or to get her glasses fixed. So this poem is very special to me personally, as it's one of the first Millay poems that I ever memorized. Probably when I was about 12 or 13, I found it in a volume called Poems Selected for Young People, and maybe a little bit later on in the series we'll actually delve into some of the poems she wrote uniquely for that book. So to me, this book talks to the tension between looking onward and outward for greener pastures versus sort of appreciating what you have right at hand. My husband would joke that I have a serious case of grass is greener syndrome, and I suspect Millay might have had the same urges, so maybe that's why it appeals so much to me. Here she lists all the things that call her onward, from catbirds to apple trees to wild roses, but she also notes that the road ahead is sharp and hot. It's almost as if she feels powerless to stop her own onward progress. Most of the flora and fauna references in here are pretty self-explanatory, but if you're curious about the mention of bayberry, she's probably talking about Myrica pennsylvanica, northern bayberry, which is a fragrant shrub that's native to the northeast U.S. The wax of the bayberry was used in colonial times to make sweet-smelling candles, and it's actually still used in potpourri today. I think even Yankee Candle has a version of it. So basically, I imagine a road that is redolent of fern and bayberry as smelling kind of green and spicy. All right. Well, that has been your daily dose of Millay. I hope you and yours are all well. Have a great night.